Okay. So what's next? There's the laws. Natural love. Now, there's a few things in this little section that I'd like to read out to you, because these are sort of trying to put these things into practical situations, if you like. Because in the end, that's what we want to do, isn't it? Demonstrate love to ourselves in practical situations. So one thing we also need to do is recognise inside of ourselves when we're not demonstrating our love to ourselves in a practical situation, so that at least we can begin to identify the emotional reason why we're not. Because a lot of times we finish up skipping over. Do you know what I mean? Like something happens that is an unloving situation to ourselves, we just fall straight into the mould that we've been in since childhood. Bang! Do the normal rote thing that we would normally do. Blah, 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 and then we come out of it thinking, what did I just do? Right? And what we want to do is at least start having some intellectual awareness of what's happening. So there's three things to remember. Notice how these laws affect my love for myself. Three things to remember. The love of myself spiritually means that I care for my connection with God. So every time you love yourself on a spiritual level, you're caring about your relationship with God. In other words, you don't say, oh, stuff it, this week I've just had enough of this stuff, this spiritual stuff's just driving me nuts. And no, I'm going to just give up it for a couple of weeks, see what happens. You won't feel like that when you've dealt with the emotions that cause you to not love yourself spiritually. Does that make sense? Now, you can certainly feel like that before then, and you need to do something about it if you feel like that. But understand that when you love yourself completely spiritually, you won't do that. Your love of God and God's love for you is going to be the most precious relationship in your life. It won't matter what anybody else thinks about you. It won't matter what your family does with you. It won't matter what your friends do with you or think about you. Your relationship with God will be more important. It won't matter what your religion says. It won't matter what your politics say. It won't matter any of those. It won't matter how you even feel sexually. You will still be focused on your relationship with God as your number one thing, if you love yourself spiritually. The second thing is, if you love yourself emotionally, you will care for and allow yourself to experience all of your own emotions in every single possible situation. Whoa, it's like, that means at work, and I'm triggered emotionally, I'm going to feel my emotion at work. So let's say it's rage. What do I do with that? There goes the phone book. Right, so work might have to have a series of phone books if that's the case. And so you get out your rubber hose at work and away you go. And it all looks really bad, right, to everyone else. What's wrong with this woman? Gee whiz. What's wrong with that crazy man again? He's off again, And yet we won't even worry about that when we're in this state of pure love of self. Does that make sense? Now, your boss will, your friends will, your family will. Everybody will if they're not in that state themselves. But can you see in the end, where we're targeting is a world like this, isn't it? So we want a world where we're at work, we can feel our emotions. We're at home, we feel our emotions. We're at school, we feel our emotions. We want a world where we just be ourselves wherever we be, wherever we are. It begins with loving of yourself, which means feeling all of your own emotions. The third thing you notice is feeling your emotions, caring for yourself physically. So I go, yeah, right at the moment, there's a bit tubbiness starting around here. It's just like slowly growing, I can feel it there, Something's going on, right? And then when it gets a bit bigger and bigger, and I have been a bit bigger in my life and I'm feeling more of that, and I'm going, I mustn't be loving myself too much. And I'm there puffing away on my cigarette and I'm feeling, I'm not, there I'm sitting down in front of the telly watching a video every single day rather than being able to create things around me, and I'm trying to live my life through other people's lives, and so I'm feeling about that. And can you see, when I start caring for myself physically, I'll start realising that, and in the end, when I care for myself completely physically, I'll get to the stage where I'll never do anything that would damage my body. Physical body or spirit body. Wow, that means, all those lotions and potions you put on your face that have got all these poisons in them, you won't do that anymore. You'll go and get some lotions and potions perhaps that have got no poison in them and do it. Maybe. But you certainly won't do it with ones that have got poison in them. That means that you won't wash your hair with, all these poisons either. Just because you like the brand. You won't do that anymore. It'll be automatic because you'll feel that, hang on a sec, there's something wrong with this, it's not loving me. When you go to take that alcoholic drink and you smell the alcohol and you think, yep, few million brain cells there, just gone, just by if I take this drink. Do you think you'll want to take it then, if you really loved yourself? What do you think? Do you think you would? And there's AJ now saying, I've got to give a drink as well. Oh boy, I thought there's enough for everybody. It's just too much, right? No, what I'm saying is you will want to do that. So if you don't want to do that yet, it's because you don't love yourself yet. Because when you get to this, and I'm not suggesting to do it to make out you love yourself and stop drinking. Right? If you want to drink, drink. That's up to you. But don't make out you love yourself doing it. Because that alcohol in there, that's killing your brain cells, right? You wouldn't choose to do that purposefully, would you? Unknowingly, perhaps, but purposefully, if you loved yourself, would you choose that? No. So, but that's okay if you're doing it now. I'm not judging any of that. What I'm saying is that if you loved yourself, you wouldn't do it. So, look at why. Why am I having this alcohol that I know is killing a few million brain cells every time I have a zip? What's going on inside of me that causes me to feel this? It's the stress that I'm under right now. I need this to relax. Why do I need this to relax? My life's too stressful. I need to do something about my life, right? Rather than have this alcoholic drink, I need to put this drink down over there for a moment and go over here and fix up what it is creating all this stress inside of me. Oh no, it's my relationship with my husband or wife that's causing all this stress. So go and do something about your relationship with your husband or wife, you see? Follow through with these things. You see even just a little zip of alcohol is carrying over many times a whole series of emotions. And I can just relax with it and now I've a sense of peace. All of a sudden my partner looks a lot better than she looked 5 minutes before. Not that Mary always looks good, but anyway. Yeah. But then, the situation looks better now. And, another drink. Yeah, it looks really good now. Do you see what I'm saying? And what we're doing is just avoiding the underlying stress and pressure and everything and all we're doing. And then the next night I'm feeling, wow, I'm feeling heaviness again of all my life again, crouching in on me. Oh, what did I do last night? Have a drink. That's a good idea. So have another one. And we do that, don't we? Until we get to the stage where we become addicted to something just because we need to avoid our life. Don't avoid your life. If you love yourself, you don't avoid your life. You actually embrace your life. And if you can't embrace your life, then get rid of the things you can't embrace. That's what you do, isn't it? If you love yourself. You see, love of others, if I think about those three things, love of myself, if I think about those three things, I will stop doing a whole heap of things if I feel the underlying emotional reasons why I do it. So I'm not suggesting that you just go out now and say, I'm not going to do this anymore, I'm not doing that anymore, I'm not doing it. Many of you still feel like doing it. So don't stop doing it if that's what you feel like doing, because that's the law of desire, right? You're allowed to desire what you have, even if it's in disharmony with love. I'm not suggesting that you can't. What I'm suggesting is allow yourself to look at the emotional reasons inside of yourself as to why you would want to treat yourself badly. And most of the time it's because we're avoiding a whole group of emotions or situations. We're avoiding the fact that we're not as close with my wife as I want to be, or my husband as I want to be. I'm avoiding the fact that actually I feel quite sad about my job. My job is really stressing me and getting me down. I'm not doing anything about it because I don't love myself. Why don't I let myself feel about why I don't love myself enough to do something about that? Let myself see why I don't love myself enough to tell the truth to everyone around me. So, I go home and visit Mum, and Mum's saying, do this, do that, do this, do that, like she has for the last 40 years that I've been alive. And all I do is fit into the groove. And I say to myself, it's only a week. It will be okay. Once I get home, I'll be fine. But you're not loving yourself in that situation, are you? So stop doing that and look at the emotional reason why. It's the emotion inside of myself that I have. Wow, look at that. Actually, I feel that Mum's going to punish me if I don't do what I want. Now, your mum, you might be a grown man, 40 years of age, nice solid build, 4 inches higher than I am or 6 inches higher than I am, and you're still being led by Mummy. Because you're afraid that Mummy will disapprove of you. Where does that come from? That's not a 40-year-old man's emotions. That's a 4-year-old boy's emotions that needs to be released. Can you see that? And if I love myself, I'll allow myself to see that happening, but I can't do that unless I'm in this space of truth and love with myself. It's so powerful once you get into this space inside of yourself, of a space of truth and love towards yourself.